Age of Mythology Retold marks the triumphant return of one of the most beloved real-time strategy games of the early 2000s. Originally released by Ensemble Studios in 2002, Age of Mythology quickly became a classic thanks to its unique blend of mythological lore and strategic gameplay. It stood out from its contemporaries, such as Age of Empires, by incorporating gods, mythical creatures, and divine powers into the RTS formula. This combination of historical and mythical elements provided players with an experience that was both familiar and refreshingly different. With the release of Age of Mythology Retold, the game aims to modernize the original experience for a new generation while appealing to longtime fans. This remaster promises not only a visual overhaul, but also gameplay enhancements, improved AI, and a host of new features designed to bring the classic title up to contemporary standards. But how well does this retelling capture the magic of the original, and does it offer enough to justify revisiting the world of gods and legends? In short, yes. Yes, it is worth it. I have played Age of Mythology for dozens, if not hundreds of hours back as a kid, and playing this retold version really made me fall in love with the game all over again. Now, this isn't a complete remake of the game, but more of a retelling, as the developer states, of the original game, so it feels kind of like a mix between a remaster and a remake. One of the most striking aspects of Age of Mythology Retold is its complete visual overhaul. The original game, while impressive for its time, is now over 2 decades old, and the aging graphics are a testament to how far gaming technology has come. In Retold, the developers have meticulously updated the visual assets to breathe new life into the game's environments, characters, and mythological creature.
You cannot ignore the omens, Arcantos. Lord Poseidon's displeasure is clear. We must help break the siege at Troy.
Troops we send now will be lucky to arrive before the fight is over. Even if they do, their only task will be to show the banner of Atlantis, not a task for an admiral.
You cannot ignore the omens, Arcantos. Lord Poseidon's displeasure is clear. We must help break the siege at Troy.
Troops we send now will be lucky to arrive before the fight is over. Even if they do, their only task will be to show the banner of Atlantis, not a task for an admiral.
The environments in Age of Mythology Retold is where the most significant improvements are immediately noticeable. The game's world is more vibrant, with rich colors and more detailed textures. Forests, rivers, and mountains are rendered with far greater realism, enhancing the sense of immersion. Water effects, in particular, have seen a major upgrade, with realistic reflections, ripples that weren't possible in the original. The overall lighting has also been improved, creating more natural shadows and a more dynamic atmosphere that changes depending on what map you're playing on. Character models and mythological units have been completely redesigned to take advantage of modern graphical capabilities. The original game's low polygon models have been replaced with high-definition versions that feature detailed textures and more fluid animations. Although the characters doesn't, for example, have lip syncing or any real facial animations, it is still impressive for an RTS. Myth units such as the Minotaur or the Anubite are more imposing and lifelike, with intricate designs that reflect their mythological origins. These units not only look better but also feel more distinct in their movements and combat animations, making battles more visually engaging. You can see that the developers have paid close attention to the finer details, ensuring that every aspect of the game's visuals have been refined. Buildings and structures now have more intricate designs, with small touches that make them feel more authentic to their respective cultures. Animations have also been significantly improved, making the game's units and environments feel more dynamic and alive. In the original, unit movements and attacks were relatively stiff, a limitation of the technology at the time. However, in Retold, animations are much smoother and more natural. Units now have a more varied idle animation, and their movements during combat are fluid and impactful. Special attention have been given to the animations of mythological creatures. The movements of these units are designed to reflect their immense power and mythical origins. These enhanced animations contribute to making battles more visually satisfying, as units clash at a flurry of detailed choreographed movements. Other animations, such as trees swaying in the wind or water flowing in rivers, add to the overall immersion. These subtle changes, combined with the game's improved visual fidelity, create a world that feels more alive and responsive to the player's actions. The story of Age of Mythology has always been one of its defining features, setting it apart from other RTS games of its era. The original campaign follows the journey of Arkantos, an Atlantean admiral who embarks on an epic quest that takes him across the mythological landscapes of Greece, Egypt, and the Norse lands. His mission to stop the evil god Kronos from escaping his imprisonment forms the backbone of the narrative, but along the way, players encounter a host of mythological figures, engage in legendary battles, and uncover ancient secrets. The story is structured as a series of missions, each set in a different mythological setting and filled with unique challenges. This structure allows the game to explore the rich lore of each civilization, weaving together a narrative that is both engaging and educational. The blend of historical and mythical elements provides a compelling backdrop for the game's strategic gameplay, and the story's progression keeps players invested in the outcome of Arkantos' journey. In Age of Mythology Retold, the core story remains largely unchanged, preserving the original's epic narrative while introducing a few new elements to keep the experience fresh for returning players. The campaign structure is similar, with missions unfolding across the same mythological landscapes. However, the developers have introduced additional dialogue, expanded character interactions, and enhanced the cutscenes with improved visuals and voice acting. One of the most significant changes in Retold is the inclusion of new side missions and optional objectives with the main campaign. It has been a while since I've played the original Age of Mythology, but I don't recall there being this many side missions, but I am happy to say that these side missions essentially complement the main story rather than distract from it. It essentially extends the playtime of each mission, and you don't have to complete these side missions, but being somewhat of a completionist, just seeing that tick mark next to the side missions before completing the main objectives gives a feeling of satisfaction. The original game featured competent voice work, but the limitations of the time meant that some performances lacked the emotional depth and nuance that modern players expect. In Retold, the voice acting has been re-recorded to better match the improved character models and animations. The result is a more immersive and engaging storytelling experience where characters feel more alive and expressive. The cutscenes have also been reworked with updated visuals and better cinematography. These improvements help to convey the granular and epic scale of the story, making key moments more impactful. The core gameplay of Age of Mythology Retold remains true to the original, with its unique blend of traditional RTS mechanics and mythological elements. Players still gather resources, build bases, and raise armies, but the addition of mythological units and god powers sets the game apart from other titles in the genre. These elements add layers of strategy and depth, as players must manage not only their economy and military, but also their divine favor with the gods. Resource management in Age of Mythology Retold is straightforward but crucial to success. Players must gather food, wood, gold, and favor, each of which plays a vital role in building and sustaining their civilization. Food, wood, and gold can be gained easily, whereas favor is earned through worshipping the gods and is an important resource for the later game. Base building in Retold follows the same principles as the original, with players constructing various buildings to support their economy and military efforts. However, the new building designs and enhancements make this process more intuitive and visually appealing. Combat in Age of Mythology Retold is where the game truly shines. The inclusion of mythological units adds a layer of complexity and excitement to battle. These units, drawn from the myths and legends of the game's civilizations, possess unique abilities that can turn the tide of battle. For example, the Cyclops can hurl enemies across the battlefield, while the Sphinx can perform powerful area of effect attacks. In addition of mythological units, players can also call upon the gods, using essentially an ability which can severely change the tides of the battlefield. These powers can range from summoning a powerful storm to unleashing a plague upon the enemy. The strategic use of the god powers can be a game changer, allowing players to devastate their opponents or reinforce their defenses at critical moments. The main civilizations, such as the Greeks, Egyptians, Norse, and Atlanteans, has its own unique units, buildings, and god powers, providing a diverse range of playstyle. The balancing between these civilizations has always been one of the game's strengths, and Retold maintains this balance, ensuring a fair competitive experience. One of the most significant enhancements in Age of Mythology Retold is the updated user interface and various quality of life improvements. The original game's UI was functional, but could be clunky and unintuitive at times, while as in Retold, the UI has been redesigned to be more user-friendly and visually appealing without losing the charm of the original. While playing Retold, it almost feels like what I remember the original game to be, until I look at gameplay of the original Age of Mythology and then I realize what a huge update this is. The redesigned interface features cleaner layouts, more accessible menus, and improved readability. Icons and buttons have been updated with modern designs, making it easier for players to manage their resources, units, and buildings. The minimap, a crucial tool in any RTS, has also been improved with better clarity and additional features, such as more detailed terrain indicators and customizable filters. Other improvements include enhanced pathfinding for units, more intuitive building placements, and automated resource gathering options. The AI has also been significantly upgraded, making both single-player campaigns and skirmishes more challenging and rewarding. I have seen a few AI problems with pathfinding, but that has only occurred on the Xbox Series versions, which I will get to in a moment. Multiplayer has always been a core component of Age of Mythology, and although I've read that there is significant improvement, I've not really played any multiplayer games of my own, so I cannot really comment on this matter at the moment. There is also the inclusion of mod support, allowing players to create and share custom content, which has been interesting to see, especially considering the early access has only been out for a few days now, so I am curious what the modding scene will be like in, for example, a month or a year from now, as this will certainly extend the game's longevity and encourage creativity among players. Retold also includes all of the content from the original game's expansions, such as the Titans and the Golden Gift. These expansions add new units and campaigns, further enriching the game's content. The original Age of Mythology featured a memorable and evocative soundtrack that perfectly captures the game's mythological themes. The music was a mix of orchestral and ethnic influences, with each civilization having its own distinct music identity. In Retold, the soundtrack has been faithfully remastered, with updated recordings that enhance the clarity and richness of the music. The original compositions have been preserved, but they have been re-recorded with higher quality instruments and modern production techniques. This results in a more immersive and impactful audio experience, where the music not only enhances the atmosphere, but also evokes a sense of nostalgia for longtime fans. The sound effects have also been completely reworked to take advantage of modern audio technologies, resulting in a more realistic and engaging soundscape. Playing this with headphones, I could hear the rustling of leaves, the flow of rivers, and the calls of distant animals as they navigate through the game's diverse landscape. These ambient sounds contribute to the overall atmosphere, making the world of Age of Mythology feel more alive and immersive. Even the battlefield sounds more intense, as the clash of swords, the roar of mythological creatures, and the explosive impact of the god powers are all more visceral and impactful. Voice acting in Age of Mythology Retold has been given a major upgrade with re-recorded lines and improved performances that, as previously mentioned, bring the game's characters to life. It doesn't take away from what the original created, but instead enhances what the original game had set up, carefully respecting the original creation while improving the overall narrative experience. The game's graphics settings are highly scalable, allowing players to adjust the level of detail, resolution, and effects based on their system's capability. It has been designed to run on more modern PCs, taking full advantage of the latest hardware capabilities, but it also has been optimized to ensure smooth performance across a wide range of systems. Even at its lowest setting, the game is still a visual treat. Generally speaking, the game does run stable, as I have not had any crashes on PC, nor any significant frame drop. One of the most noticeable improvements, actually, in my opinion, is the reduction in loading times. Maybe back in the early 2000s, I just had a very weak PC, but loading times in this game feels super fast, going from one mission to another in a couple of seconds. It feels very well optimized, ensuring that it runs smoothly even during large-scale battle or on detailed maps. Considering back when Age of Empires 4 released, I had some significant issues when that game launched, I am surprised at how well Age of Mythology Retold runs on my current PC. Now, of course, one big thing about Age of Mythology is that it was released on PC as well as the Xbox Series consoles at the same time, so the big question is, how does it play on the Xbox consoles? Now, thanks to Microsoft and Keymailer, I did receive a code for Xbox, where I did play it a bit on the Xbox Series X, and although the game does have quality and performance mode, I didn't really notice that big of a difference. Playing it on a 55-inch 4K TV was certainly a visual treat, but the controllers was something to get used to. Now, I don't generally play RTS games on console. One of the big RTS games that I remember playing on the Xbox back in the day was Halo Wars, but I feel that the controls have been optimized very well to run on the consoles, as you can easily go from selecting units to building your base, sending out villagers, and using your god powers. The only issue that I ran into from time to time was selecting specific units, like selecting an individual villager and sending them to do a specific task, but that is more a me problem because, well, I'm not used to playing RTS games with the controller, but after about 30 minutes or so, it was fairly easy to move around the map. It doesn't look as visually appealing on consoles as it does on PC, but I only really noticed that because I played through the PC version and then played a couple of hours on console, so I was used to that visual fidelity on the computer, but it is by no means an ugly game on the Xbox Series X. In fact, I actually want to replay the entire campaign on the Xbox Series X simply because, well, I have a 55-inch 4K TV that I want to experience this game on while sitting on my couch having a cup of coffee. Now, the only real issue that I've experienced technically while playing on consoles is that some of the villagers did have pathfinding issues when sending them to, for example, gather wood or gold, and it's not something I experienced on PC at all. So I do wonder if that's a console-specific case or if it was just a one-time thing. In conclusion, I can confidently say that Age of Mythology Retold is a remaster that successfully brings the classic RTS game into the modern era. The visual overhaul, enhanced gameplay mechanics, and quality of life improvements make it a joy to play, regardless of where you jump into the series. Considering that there is still 2 upcoming expansions, it does make me excited about the future of the franchise, and one that I'll definitely keep a close eye on. Now, if you do want to jump into Retold early on, you can purchase the premium edition, which comes with early access, as well as the new Gods Pack, Legacy Deity Portrait Pack, as well as the upcoming expansions. Or you could wait until release day, where this game will be on Game Pass, where you can play it at essentially no additional cost. Now, I do wish to thank Microsoft and Nordic for providing me with the review key of the premium edition on PC, and if you have any questions about Age of Mythology Retold, then let me know in the comments below. For more gaming content, have a look at the rest of my channel, and until next time, my name is Frank, I'm the Red Tie Guy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.